My name is Margaret Ann Windsor, and the name I have to use is Peggy Ann Dempsey. I married Childers. Excuse me. I was kidnapped in 41, brought to Moulton, Alabama, given the name of a twin, Peggy. Peggy and Carl were born out of wedlock, both of them killed by their mother, Lina. And the family covered it up, and the Illuminati kidnapped me. My father's Edward VIII, who never married Wallace Simpson. A double did. He was married to my mom all along and was still married and alive in 1986 when I came to Roanoke. So that was all a lie and a takedown, character assassination by the Illuminati, Freemason, Rockefellers, Rothschilds, Bilderbergers. Kennedy was appointed. How quaint, in 1936 when they took my father down. He was married and stayed married to my mom, Claudia Ruth O'Keefe, a school teacher, sister to artist Georgia O'Keefe. So they have so destroyed my father, and they're still using, saying this is Edward VIII that abdicated to marry this American spy here. A lie. He was married to a beautiful lady, my mom. I was born in 39, kidnapped in 41. The Illuminati put George the illegal sixth in power. Thus Elizabeth and all of them are illegal, and they know it. Now I want to put this here and read it. If I can, excuse me. By the way, I'm going to show this. This is Gabby Gifford, who was married to Mark Kelly, twin to Scott Kelly, and they're both astronauts. She was she was Congress lady, she was shot in Tucson, Arizona, and she's advocate for gun control, which is total bull. Shows you how much they either know or don't tell Congress. Let me see here. This is a mind control. These all are. James Holmes is being you call treated. You have to stop the programming and mind control. They got him in a mental hospital using psychotic drugs, misdiagnosed him, and that's not by mistake. These psychiatrists and doctors, where are they? Why have they not spoken out? The more it goes on, the worse it gets. Anyway, that's the Century Theater in Aurora, Colorado, 716. But these are done in patterns, and this is Timothy McVeigh, who said that the Army implanted a chip up his buttocks. This has been going on a long time, and he went on to bomb it's not really him, he's a puppet, Murray Federal Building in Oklahoma City. Now then, along with Terry Nichols, he's still in prison, and of course, Timothy McVeigh, who was in your army, fought for you, he was put to death for something he didn't do. So this was the first thing I wanted to say before I pick up on the last video that I put up today. Everybody here, Roanoke, I have been so many times to all these channels since I came. Part of the time I didn't have a home, but yet when I got a few bucks, I would Xerox, I would take it to them. They did nothing. Absolutely nothing. They're afraid of it and afraid of their jobs. The press has known about my kidnapping, the mind control murders they knew about my kidnapping in 41 and the takedown of my dad in 36. The media's controlled by the people that kidnapped me and took my dad down with character assassination and my mom down. Uh, so they control your press, and they really, just like Trump said, President Trump. Now, these are mind control murders and my kidnapping that I've taken it to D.C., and God knows what happened to me there and on the way back. It's been ongoing hell. I had a letter from the FBI June the 23rd, which, by the way, is my dad's birthday. only the year was 79 they issued it. So I'm going to go on and leave out some I've put up many times. I worked for the district attorney in 80 after I was almost killed, and it's a wonder I could even talk or live. Fred Simpson. You get into Madison County DA, Huntsville, Alabama. It gets into clues of my identity, like Simpson, as in Wallace Simpson was supposed to marry my father, which Edward VIII, which is a lie. He married my mom, Claudia Ruth O'Keefe, sister to artist Georgia O'Keefe, from Madison, Wisconsin. The next job I had was for Doyle Duke, and a very decent man. But there you get Duke, as in the Duke of Windsor, which was a lie. That was a double. So I'm not going to go any further. You get the gist of it. Now, then, I also put in here when I ran in the campaign in August '83 to replace Larry McDonald, one of the doctors I worked for, and wrote about in the book, and it's unpublished because, quite frankly, they almost killed me, and then they took it out of the safety deposit box I had paid for. That was in Burt Lance. He was part of the Carter administration. That was in his bank that it was illegally removed from. I'd managed to keep it all up. So I don't know where is that. You might ask the Hearst, though. They run the Atlanta Journal, and I didn't know it when I was going there in '79. Had a letter. I actually had 2 letters from the FBI, the U.S. Attorney, and then I don't want to get him in trouble. I've already put it up. A handwritten from him. I'd just been in the satellite office, so I guess, and it was shut down right after I walked out. Maybe a couple of weeks later. So this is what's been happening. They just ignore it. Now if I can get my train of thought back. I was telling about my dad, the Hearst, Patty Hearst. That's just been on TV, a documentary or something about her. And at the time, I didn't know my real name. That was in '83. I found out after I was in the campaign and flown to Mr. Flint's. Okay, that was later that this was sent to me, and FBI agent sent it to me. So now then, where am I? Back to the Hearst. The woman that run Laurelwood I had moved from Moonraker to Laurelwood in '79, May the 8th. And she said to me, and I wondered why she said it, she said, my uncle was in charge of the Patty Hearst kidnapping. Of course, that gets into brainwashing, but what I've been writing about is mind control and programming that's been going on for a long, long time, and nobody wants to... they want to call you crazy. And by the way, the crazy card, like they did with O.J. Simpson and all of them, they've done this with all of them, is the most hideous torture. Where are the psychiatrists and the doctors in all this? They're building new mental health hospitals, and they're not saying anything about the real cause is programming of, you can do it, it's the Tesla files, and I'm going to get to the gist of mine before people turn it off, I guess. Tesla files were stolen in 1930, where you could cure an illness or create one. You can program people to do anything because you take away their thought process, whatever, willpower, whatever you want to say. They become a pawn by the people programming them, and yet the wrong person pays for the crime, just like in Parkland, Florida. The young man's been beaten to a pulp. I don't know how he's standing up. And I'm sure the other students meant well, but unless they tell about mind control, it's not the guns. It does you no good. You could mass program. I think they've done something similar, only they didn't have them kill, where you can get people to come together at a certain spot, and you could actually have them all kill each other. So that's what's going on. I wonder if that'd make I better not say that. Hell, I don't know that's going to happen. Just I'm using this as a what could happen. Like you can program a plane, the K007 from Juneau, Alaska, that crashed into the ocean and 260 plus. I better do this one again. I could be God, I can't do programming. I can't even live. I'm just the person telling you about it, and you all hate me. Now then, I probably lost it, my train of thought, and you all. So I'm just going to cut to the chase here. Channel 10, all of it. Have always known about it. My kidnapping and the mind control. So this is bull taking away your guns. And everybody's talking about it now. You got the students that meant the right thing, but they got your attention. The media wanted to publicize this. That meets what they want, the Illuminati. Now then, take away your guns and everything. They're already in power under the United Nations. You don't call it a shadow government. It is the government of the Illuminati up there right by the Rockefellers. Now, back to this. I wanted to read you something because well, that one's obvious if this is ever put up. The Scott Kelly and Mark Kelly and twins and married to a congresswoman. Now I wanted to get to this. This was what I started in the other video. I touched on it. When I was in Atlanta, and this is after I'd done the book and almost killed, I was back there on the street really, had begged a minister, fell down at his door, asked him to help me, and he did. And I was in the campaign not too long later and flown out to Mr. Flint's in October twice. In October, he helped me in the campaign. But I wanted to get into this. I lived at, well, it turned into a boarding house that used to be pretty, but it was dumped when I was there. Bambi Robb lived there. And it's like also clues to what's going to happen, and it does. You piece it together. So this was already playing, like out of stage one or something, of casting. Bambi is associated with a deer. Okay, I end up here in 86, October, Virginia. Again, but I didn't have the Hustler car that had been leased for a year for me. It had gone back. Now I'm on the streets again. No job. Showing Hustler magazine, trying to get somebody to help to know what had happened to me. My jobs were blocked. Homes were blocked. Kept homeless and penniless. Lived on the Appalachian Trail. So anyway, Bambi was like associated with the forest, and I end up here. Robb, her last name, I end up in Virginia. And that's when the fiasco was going on that I'm going to tell about now, and also Forrest Sawyer. Forrest is in Bambi and associated with the National Forest, where I tried to live over the years, froze and starved. But this is part of the patterns, and they do make sense when you hear them laid out in order and timeline. They can be proven. And by the way, there's a couple of them that you don't need anything but that, and you can see it, and you know the rest of them are. But here's what I came up to Virginia, October of 86. Okay, Chuck Robb was the, well, he's deceased, I believe. He was the Attorney General, I believe, of Virginia, and then he became the governor of Virginia, and that was 82 till 1896. He had an affair, and Playboy exposed it, with T.A.I., and her last name's Collins. She was a Miss Virginia, I guess, who claimed to have had a sexual relationship with Robb during his governorship of Virginia, when governor of Virginia, Playboy exposes. Here's Chuck Robb gets nude messages from Ms. What does their name was? Collins, Miss Virginia. Former U.S. Senator Chuck Robb admits that while he was governor in 82 to 86 of Virginia, had been alone in a motel room with Miss Virginia and gets into massages and a nude photo, I believe. Anyway, she appeared on October 1991 issue of Playboy, and it stated that she carried on an 18-month affair, full contact sexual affair with Robb. Chuck Robb. Linda Bird was the first daughter of President Johnson. Now then, there was something else I'm sure I wanted to put up here, and I can't. Yeah, there was. Oh, I wanted to mention this odd thing. Not odd to me because I know what's going on, and it's like you link it together. When I was in the ran for president, when this was. And they wouldn't publish it then. They didn't. I was on the ballot, but they didn't. The media wouldn't touch it. They did in Atlanta when I was flown out to Hustlers. But then they didn't tell the truth about anything. But I wanted to give this, and it said something about Donna Rice. She was the young lady who went out on the boat with Gary Hart from Colorado, and he was running for the presidency then. And there was supposed to be an affair, and it brought down his bid for the presidency, and you don't hear anything about him anymore. And I think Ms. Rice did some good work after this, so it gets a little garbled here. That happened, but I don't know about some of the things that were said about her. They're talking about that. Well, I won't get to that. You can Google it. I don't see it. I had it written down. Anyway, that's just one thing you don't hear about now. Of course, I think he's dead, but I'm sure there was something else I was going to put up, and I can't think what it was. Let me say this. I'm moved around. I have an allergy, autoimmune disorder, which is nothing funny. It's killing me to be around fumes and toxic fumes where I have to inhale it, like in here. And it's not funny. I've endured it. It's almost like you walk into like the dermatologist I used to work for. I worked for different doctors groups in Atlanta over the years, and like giving them a patch test to see what you're allergic to. Well, this is killing me. It's torturing me. I'm kept penniless and homeless and afraid somebody's going to come and handcuff me because, for even telling what I'm telling someone, they made it so easy to lock you up. And if you're a political figure who's telling the truth, you'd never see the light of day again. They can pick you up and put you in a mental hospital and all this pump and everything about, well, if you're not mentally ill or something, why they let you go? Are you living in a dream world yourself, reality? Doctors are people just like you. They commit crimes, and my question is, the mind control, it's not mental illness. And hey, this is still going up. This is the reason this is going to go off. Channel 10 here, NBC here, knows all about mind control murders. Now then, they covered a meeting that was held. They're having all kinds of meetings now because of the Parkland, Florida shooting, about backpacks that have resistance to bullets. I thought, my God, it's not resistance to bullets going in their backpack. You find a way to stop the mind control, and that's by telling about it, explaining it, and laying the truth out for one time.